A Slow Reveal, a 7-part Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction, narrated and written by Janet Bonilla. This is my first time writing a fanfiction, so if you enjoy, leave a like, and if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments below. I hope you enjoy! Marinette eased her breath as she walked out from the alleyway she was once transformed in. Wow, Tiki. Hawkmoth is getting stronger every fight. Those Senti monsters are more powerful than I had imagined, Marinette managed to say, out of breath from the recent Hawkmoth fight.
I know, and it's dangerous. You must be careful,
Tiki said, while finishing up her cookie she had been eating. For the past few weeks, Ladybug and Chat Noir have been fighting Hawkmoth and Mayura. The villains took matters into their own hands, as they thought the Akumas haven't done a good job of trying to obtain Ladybug and Chat Noir's Miraculouses. Hawkmoth has since then grown, but so has Ladybug and Chat Noir.
Get ready for the final battle soon. I can sense it,
Tiki cautioned. Oh, Tiki, I don't know if I can handle it. Marinette worried she wouldn't be strong enough to fight. She's only an 18-year-old girl after all. Chat and herself had a lot of pressure to take down Hawkmoth, not to mention the other superheroes that would probably join them.
Oh, please, Marinette. You're one of the strongest ladybugs I've seen. Maybe you just need more confidence as, well, Marinette,
Tiki explained, unaware that she was about to change the subject. What do you mean by that, Tiki? Marinette looked a bit confused.
I mean, you need a boost of confidence as Marinette. Don't get me wrong, you're a leader with or without a mask. When you're Ladybug, though, you're almost always confident. But as Marinette, you can barely ever muster even a few words to Adrian, let alone fighting an Akuma.
I know. You don't need to remind me. Alya does that every day at school. I just can't talk to him. Every time I try, I start thinking of how kind and selfless he is, and I just have a nervous breakdown, Marinette whined. Oh, Tiki, I have a great idea. What if I go to his house as Ladybug and talk to him, like Chat does with me? Maybe I can boost my confidence like that, Marinette chirped up.
I don't know, Marinette. What does that have to do with boosting your confidence? Or skill of all things, she hesitated.
Yes, I know, but it will only be once. I won't do it anymore after that, I promise. If I talk to Adrian when I'm Ladybug and I don't completely embarrass myself, maybe that'll prove that I can fight Hawkmoth when the time comes, Marinette insisted.
Oh, fine. I suppose you can, but not for very long. Once your earrings start beeping, you should leave like you normally would, okay?
The Kami let Marinette go, despite having no logic to her reasoning. Marinette had more time than usual because she wasn't actually going to use her lucky charm. An hour? No, maybe less. Yes, Tiki, I promise I will. Thank you, you won't regret it. Marinette squeezed Tiki's little body. Maybe she could finally talk to Adrian without stuttering and being weird. Calming down, she went into an alleyway and transformed. Tiki, spots on! Ladybug stood on a nearby rooftop from Adrian's house. As she composed herself, she was even more nervous after what she saw. Chat Noir detransformed into Adrian in his bedroom from a glimpse of his bedroom window. Wait, Adrian is... Is Chat Noir? Ladybug pondered the news, shocked, before continuing her train of thought. That's interesting. A good thing, she said to herself. Maybe she could actually talk to him, although, for once, she was a bit nervous to talk to Chat Noir. She jumped into the bedroom as soon as she thought he wouldn't be suspicious of if she saw him or not. Let's go for it, I guess. Ladybug tried psyching herself up before jumping into Adrian's room. He was lying on his bed, daydreaming about her, when he suddenly heard a hard thump on the floor and looked up. Ladybug? What are you doing here? He rubbed his neck sheepishly. Oh, hey, Adrian. Daydreaming, are you? She smiled, trying to keep balance of herself, not quite knowing what she was going to do. Adrian blushed quite profusely. He'd never heard his lady stutter before. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you don't, Ladybug winked, unsure with the action she took. This must be how it feels to be flirtatious, like Chat. She subconsciously rolled her eyes at the thought of Adrian being under the mask and having outrageously good flirting skills. Anyway, what have you been up to these days? Well, photo shoots are great. Adrian rolled his eyes, clearly being sarcastic. Sorry, I mean, I'm mostly doing fencing and piano aside from that. Oh, and school, my favorite part of the day. Really? Most kids don't like school very much, she said, listening tentatively. What do you like most about it? Oh, that's easy. My friends, of course. Nino, he's my best bud and the first friend I made by myself. He loves DJing and he's a pretty brave dude. He even tried to get my father to let me have a birthday party. He continued. Oh, and Alia, she's cool. He never confirmed they were together, but I can see the way they look at each other. Nino is head over heels for her. Adrian smirked. I better get some credit. I remember locking them together during an Akuma fight once. I guess they really clicked. She giggled. Oh, and Marinette. She's amazing. You should see the derby hat she made for one of my father's contests, or these great prom dresses she made last year. She's really talented and stands up for everyone. And she's really nice. And really pretty. He praised Marinette, saying that last part to himself, rather than to Ladybug. He thought to himself for a moment. No, Adrian, I shouldn't be thinking about Marinette like that. She is just a friend. I'm in love with Ladybug, Adrian thought, knowing he was lying to himself about Marinette. Ladybug blushed a tinge of pink while she heard her civilian form being mentioned. Wow, they must be very special to you, huh? She is. I mean, they are. I'm so lucky to have them all as friends, he corrected himself, which Ladybug took note of. He still had Marinette in his mind for a moment longer than he should have. What about you? How is it like being a Paris superheroine? Ladybug thought to herself. You should know. You're Chat Noir, she spoke. Oh, it can be really quite challenging at times, but the thrill is great. It always keeps me on my toes. It really makes me question whether I exercise enough. Ladybug chuckled a little, Adrian following. She threw in something about Chat, knowing exactly how he'd react. Oh, and how could I ever forget about my partner, Chat Noir? Between you and me, his puns aren't as bad as I make them out to be. He's actually really fun to hang around with, even with his lame cat puns, she said, rolling her eyes again. I wouldn't trade him for the world. I've grown to trust him over all these years, and I'm sure he trusts me. She smiled, making Adrian blush even harder than she did. It's true, she thought that before she even knew who he was. She didn't want to admit it, of course, because of his stupid kitty act and how he would react. So, how's it like being a famous designer's son? Ladybug tried moving the conversation more. Honestly, not as fun as you'd think it is. My father put so much pressure on me to be the image of perfection. I don't really get to enjoy the little things, like hanging out with my friends or making little mistakes. Adrian had a melancholic expression on his face. Well, at least you get lots of skills from it, like your modeling, doing the piano, fencing and stuff, right? Ladybug tried to soften the mood. He gave her a shy smile. Yeah, I guess you're right. More things to add to my job resume. They both gave a quick laugh at the remark. How's your relationship with your father? Do you ever spend time together? Well, we don't spend that much time together, but he makes more of an effort. Like, sometimes he plays the piano with me. He makes sure Natalie takes care of me when he's busy, or that he always tries to get me the best money can buy. I can tell he tries, but I wish he didn't suppress his emotions so much. I can tell my mother leaving put a toll on him. Adrian hesitated if he should tell her more about his mother. He never really spoke about her to many people. Ladybug felt bad for him and didn't really know how to respond. I'm so sorry about your mother. It's good that your father puts in the effort, though. Adrian appreciated her optimism. Anyway, how is it like for you at home? He hesitated a bit on whether he should ask the question, seeing as she didn't want to reveal too much about herself, but he didn't want her to leave yet. I can't tell you much, but what I can say is there's a lot of Ultimate Mecha Strike 3 and even more cookies, Ladybug mentioned, thinking of her Kwame and the cookie addiction she has. You play Ultimate Mecha Strike 3 too? That's one of my favorite games. Really? Mine too. I play it a lot with my parents and sometimes with my friends too. She thought of the time she played it with Adrian, but couldn't incorporate it into the conversation for obvious reasons. It seems like Adrian remembered that event as well. I played it with my friend Marinette once for a gaming competition. Just one more thing she's good at. She's way better than I am for sure. Adrian unintentionally blushed when he remembered the brush of hands that day. Clearly, Marinette had a special place in his heart, even if he didn't want to admit it yet. Do you see Marinette differently? You tend to mention her a bit more intimately than your other friends, Ladybug wondered. Yes, she knew he only mentioned her one other time, but that's one more than Nino and Alia, and he did talk about her more than he did with Nino, and he spends more time with him. Well, except for when he's Chat Noir. He came to her house a lot the past year or two. They really got to know each other. That was Adrian? Her cheeks heated up at the thought. She wasn't as amiss when she was talking to Adrian as when she was when they first met, but she still couldn't quite keep it together. What? No, she's just a friend. Adrian fumbled out, which Ladybug noticed the obvious hesitation Adrian had and kept it in the back of her mind before she let him talk again. The reason I admire her is because, Well, it was a really long time ago, but the way she handled the situation, I don't know. He sighed. Ladybug turned around, looking at the window now. The illuminating sun was now merely a blanket over Paris, and the gorgeous tint of pink and orange gave a nice background to the Eiffel Tower. The sun was starting to set already. If it's too personal, you don't have to tell me. I'd understand. Ladybug turned around again, looking back at him. She didn't want to pry him, but she was curious as to what he was talking about. No, it's okay. I've been dying to tell someone how I feel about it, he thought to himself. Or at least someone who doesn't yap about cheese right after. Really? Okay. What's wrong, Adrian? She asked, listening closely. It's just... She made me this scarf. It was special to me, mostly because I thought my father finally gave me a proper gift. I hadn't noticed for more than a year. I was getting ready for school. It was a cold day, so I decided to wear my scarf, and... He paused a moment to sit on the couch with Ladybug before continuing. Ladybug's cheeks were slightly flushed, but Adrian didn't seem to mind. I noticed some black writing stitched in it while putting it on. I took a closer look, and it had Marinette's signature. I was really surprised and a little confused. Did they buy it from her or something? Then I recalled she said she doesn't put things up for sale. They were either gifts or for contests. So I asked Natalie one day. She confessed and said that my father insisted that she got me a birthday present because he was too busy. She had forgotten all about it though, so she took the post-it off Marinette's gift so my father wouldn't be mad. He sighed, relieved he got all of that off his chest. Now Ladybug's cheeks were boiling. Actually a bit relieved herself that she finally knew how the scarf mix-up happened. That's why Natalie was a bit nicer to Marinette than to, for example, Nino. The women probably felt guilty for stealing it. The thing is, I came to school the day after my birthday, claiming it to be from my father. How was she not mad? Well, guess what? She was far from mad. Apparently, she was okay with it because I was happy. She was happy because I was happy. I'm such a fool for not seeing it before. Ladybug didn't know what to say. Luckily, her earrings spoke for her, beeping, letting her know it was time to go. Maybe she could give him a hint that she knew. Would he catch it? Would you look at that? I gotta head out now, she sighed happily, liking the time she spent with Adrian. It's already evening? Time sure does go by fast. Adrian blushed, realizing how much he poured his heart out to her. Before leaving, Adrian put out a hand to greet her goodbye, giving her a sincere smile. I enjoyed talking to you, Adrian. I'll see you soon. Bug out. And just like that, she was zipping through Paris, unable to hide the smile she held on her face. She gave him a slight hint that she knew, but it looked like he didn't notice at all. Maybe it was just subtle enough that he couldn't tell. The cool wind in her hair, and the confidence she now had talking to Adrian Agreste. She was content with how she spent her afternoon. I can't believe it, Plag. She spent time talking to Adrian. She even said she liked spending time with Chat Noir. Adrian stared at his ceiling dreamily. Good for you, kid. Now can I get some camembert before you go off and daydream about your little love bug? Plag suggested. Adrian sighed. You know what, Plag? Okay. Giving in to his Kwame's need for cheese, not even minding because of a visit he got from his lady. She really is wonderful, Plag. Amazing, even. Adrian plopped on his bed, thinking of everything they talked about, as Plag dug his little teeth into his filthy camembert. Today was a good day.